First symptom I had was a slowness in healing for the wound itself. And then several months later, I had a series of what we thought were bladder infections. But they wouldn't heal, they didn't respond to antibiotics.
These were some of the symptoms Laurie Kelly experienced following surgery at Hoag Hospital, in which new cutting-edge technology was supposed to give her a chance to beat breast cancer in a single day.
I was referred to a surgeon right there at Hoag, and he proposed that he try out what was going to be a new procedure that Hoag had just completed building a special room for. And it's called IORT, intraoperative radiation therapy. And it had been in testing for 10 years around the country. And it was determined to be very safe and very effective, equally effective to the gold standard of surgery and radiation. So he was the chief guy at Hoag. So I agreed with him after I saw the research. I asked to see the research on it. He showed it to me. And all the research had been done with a device called the Zeiss instrument, made by Zeiss in Germany.
Soon after the procedure, Kelly says she noticed her wound from surgery wouldn't heal. And 6 months after surgery, Kelly says she received more bad news.
It just took my breath away. I mean, it looked like it was snowing inside of my breast. And the doctor immediately said, oh, those are just little teeny tiny calcifications. They're fine. Don't worry about that. They won't go anywhere in your body. Don't worry about it. And I said I thought I should have a biopsy, and he discouraged it. And I persisted with wanting a biopsy, and it took for about 10 days to finally get a biopsy.
The biopsy would reveal tungsten in her system.
Hoag had the blood sent out, and it didn't find anything, so they had to send it to the Mayo Clinic, and they identified it. And they knew that the shield, which had been placed behind the area where it would be radiated to protect the heart, was made out of tungsten. And so the surgeon knew that. And so they were required to contact the FDA and the company. And at that time, the FDA stepped in and canceled the use of the product.
Kelly would learn that this Zeiss machine she'd researched and had thought had been used in her surgery was actually not the machine used in her procedure at Hoag. Instead, Hoag's brand new Zoft accent device was used.
I was incredulous. I could not believe that the FDA would allow a product to be used under its authority and have never been tested on human beings before. And then we found out not only had it never been tested by the FDA, it had never been tested by the maker. I would have never proceeded. But I was never told that. It was embedded in the patient signature form, the name of the product itself. But when you're going into surgery, you don't think to double check the name of the device with the name the doctors told you that will be used. At least I didn't think of that.
And since her procedure nearly 2 years ago, Kelly has had to live with tungsten in her system, not knowing what ill effects would be down the road.
The research that exists is on having inhaled it, like miners inhaling it, and it's toxic. And then the animal research, there's not even a lot of animal research, but there is animal research. And there they find that the tungsten hones to the bone. In other words, it's drawn to bone. And rats can get bone cancer from it. Well, it's been very serious because I had a double mastectomy because it was so thoroughly involved in my left breast. And then in the right breast, there was no tungsten, but I elected to have it removed because I knew there was a toxic burden on my body now from the tungsten. And if I'd already had breast cancer on one side, I was more at risk to have it on another. So I had double mastectomy. And subsequent to that, I had a case of pancreatitis. I've never had pancreatitis before. And my doctor thinks it was because of the toxic load of the tungsten. And then I had my reconstruction surgery, and again, I was a little bit slow to heal. I had complications. I became allergic to every pain medication, and I've never had that experience before. And then I got a staph infection, which I've never had before. So I was out of work for 4 months, and I continue to not have my full quotient of energy. And I'm concerned about the long-term effects of the tungsten that's remaining in my body. I've also gone through chelation treatments where we've tried to remove the metals through chelating agents, and that's reduced a little bit of the tungsten, but there's still a lot of tungsten left in my body.